Hi everyone, this is the simple circuits activity. I'm going to be making the circuits with our little circuit kits here. I do want you to go through this before you do the simulation activity or any of the lecture slides about the theory behind circuits. I would love for you to do this first, observing what we're setting up, the properties of the circuit, and then describing those in that short little activity. So what we have here is we've got some D-cell batteries, just regular old D-cell batteries. These are the industrial. That just means that the kinds of things that I do with them in terms of the current that I draw is a little bit better. These activities work with regular Duracell, D-cells, or regular Energizer, or Rayovac. Or whatever brand. Rayovac is the best. Rayovac is my favorite. But other kits have these regular Duracells. I know that these are my favorite. I've got these little wires. I'll show you a close-up of these wires. These are just wires that have little alligator clips, chomp, 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 on the end. And I have these flashlight bulbs. Now these flashlight bulbs are interesting. I'll put one down and zoom in on it. Pardon the shaky camera work, but I believe it's for the best. So these flashlight bulbs, come on, zoom. My zoom is always so slow to start. There we go. The flashlight bulbs come in two parts. There is the bulb itself. Let's see if we can get the zoom to actually focus. There we go. There's the bulb itself, just a regular flashlight bulb. Come on, autofocus. What would a YouTube video be without someone swearing about the autofocus? And then this little holder. Now this little holder is what the bulb screws into. There are two legs on the holder. There is just one end for the bulb, right? Wrong. Each bulb is actually has two ends. The two ends are the side and that little metal button on the bottom. The little metal button on the bottom and the side are the two ends of the bulb. Inside the holder, you can see that there is a metal plate on the bottom that's connected to one of the legs, and then the metal side is connected to the other leg. So when you screw the bulb in, pardon the messy table, now we're back. When you screw the bulb in, autofocus, looks good. You're actually connecting each end of the light bulb filament to each end of the holder. So the first thing we do in the simple circuits activity is connect the battery to a round light bulb. This is a round light bulb. Connect the battery. We'll have to notice that I've got two ends of my battery, two ends of each wire, and then the two ends of the light bulb. So when I connect, one end to one, I should just watch what I'm doing, not look through the viewfinder and try to see what's going on. There we see the light bulb lights up. So the key here is that I have a complete path, we can see, from the negative end of the battery to the light bulb, through the light bulb, and then back to the other end of the battery, the positive end over here. The next thing on the activity is it wants us to connect two batteries. Now there's actually multiple ways of connecting two batteries because I have these two ends, positive or negative. I'm going to do it the right way first. So I'm going to disconnect my light bulb. I'm going to use one wire to connect the positive end of this battery that I was using to the negative end of this battery. This is just like what you do when you put batteries in a flashlight or batteries in your remote. You have to be sure that the positive and the negative ends are lined up. I'll use these batteries to show, right? In a flashlight, you have to connect your batteries like this when you put your batteries in the flashlight. You can't put them like this. You can't put them like this. You have to put them like this. In a remote, typically you have to flip them so that you're still using the same kind of reasoning where I have a positive, negative, negative, positive. In a remote, there is just a wire that connects these two ends. That's all that it does. And then these ends go off to the circuit and all the other things that are inside the remote or your wireless video game controller or whatever it is. So there is a wire that connects the bottom ends of these batteries, just like this wire. All it does is connect these two. I'm going to color code it so that, since it's off the screen a little bit, I'm going to switch this for a red wire here. This red wire, all it's doing is connecting the positive and the negative ends of our batteries. And then this was on the, and the negative ends of our batteries, pardon me. Positive, negative connecting together. Now this is like what we have in a remote. And then this end was, for the single battery circuit, connected here to the positive end. I'm going to connect it here to the positive end of this, and we'll see what the difference is in our light bulb. We see a much brighter light bulb. This is glowing much more brightly than it was with just a single battery, which is to be expected. The battery provides the energy in the circuit, we assume. Now I have two sources of energy that should provide even more energy, and I'm seeing that in my light bulb. But there's another way to connect this. In addition to the wrong way, I'll show that, what I almost had, right? This is positive, positive, and then negative. We see connect, wah, wah, nothing happening. If you have a flashlight, all I'm doing here is I've done this in my flashlight, right? I've connected the positive ends together with that red wire, and they don't do anything. Now, another way to connect another battery is, let's do this way. Let's connect the two positives together and the two negatives together. Let me make sure. Yep, we're going to do it this way. I'm going to flip this around to make sure that we see what we're doing. So I've got another battery in this circuit. I've got one red wire that connects the two negative ends together. Oops. I'll make sure it's back in frame in just a second. Bear with me, please. Okay. And then I've got another red wire that connects the two positive ends together. So I've got two batteries hooked up together. When I connect this, my light bulb is on with the same low dim brightness that it had originally. This setup will run twice as long. So I actually have twice the lifetime, though I've not increased the energy input into my light bulb at all. But this has twice the lifetime. Not twice as bright as we had when we flipped the battery. So the one I would love us to think about when we assume, okay, I've got twice the batteries, our assumption is I've got twice the energy, and that's this one when we connect a positive to a negative. The first one I showed you, positive to negative, this would be number 2. We have now a really bright light bulb, as we would expect. I just wanted to show you those other two ways, because often they come up when I let you play on your own in class. This is what I expect for 2 light bulbs. Now, number 3, we have the 2 light bulbs, so I'm going to leave these connected just as they are. When I'm done, I'm going to connect back to here. But I'm introducing another light bulb in my circuit. So I have a second identical light bulb. I'm now going to put these 2 light bulbs. I'm going to move my batteries off the screen so that we're only focusing on the light bulbs. And I've got here 2 light bulbs we see connected in, I'm going to say a straight line. Obviously the wire's all wiggly over the paper, but there is no place for the wires to split from one another, right? I have my wires from my batteries over here, just so you know that my batteries are just off screen. The wires come from the batteries into this light bulb. Make sure there's a good connection. And then connect to this light bulb, and then this one's going to go back to my batteries over here. And we see that with 2 batteries now, I have 2 dimly lit bulbs. So I still have 2 batteries providing twice the energy as one battery, but we're obviously sharing it somehow between these bulbs. So the brightness is similar to when we had 1 battery, 1 bulb. 2 batteries, 2 bulbs connected this way has the same brightness as 1 battery and 1 bulb. Number 4 on the activity says remove one of the bulbs from the previous circuit. So I'm going to remove this bulb. I'm just going to unscrew it. Watch what happens to this bulb. By unscrewing this, that bulb turned off. I'd love for you to think about why that is and have that description as your answer for number 4 in the activity. Number 5 in the activity has a new way of connecting the light bulb. So let's make that happen. I've got, this would be bulb 1, and then on bulb 1 I'm going to attach bulb 2. So bulb 2 has 2 wires coming from it, and I'm going to attach these wires to the wires from bulb 1. So that looks a little something like this. So now right here and here, I'll show you on the diagram, hopefully my computer screen will show up nicely. Yeah. I've connected bulb 2 to the ends of bulb 1, and then bulb 1 is going to go back to the battery. So let's look at what this circuit looks like. When I connect my circuit together, awesome. I'm going to move this down. I have now 2 brightly glowing bulbs. Hopefully you can see on the video that this is a little bit brighter than what we had previously. Now we are asked to remove one of the bulbs. So I'm going to remove bulb 1. I want you to think about what you think is going to happen to bulb 2 when I unscrew bulb 1. Now, you see bulb 1 is still on. It is still quite bright. Is that what you expected? See if you can describe why bulb 2 is still lit up even after bulb 1 was removed. So I want you to answer those, and I'll put it right back in, and it's still on. I can remove this one, see what happens. That one. It does get a little brighter. The increased brightness is actually kind of difficult to describe why that's happening. We won't talk about that. I want us to focus on the fact that it is on, and it stayed on even though the other bulb was removed from the circuit. So answer those questions 1 through 5 on the simple circuit exercise. Then I would encourage you to go through the slides about circuits, current, voltage, resistance, Ohm's law before you do the next circuit activity that I'm going to make a video for. Excellent work, everyone.